In this video, we'll factor trinomials when the leading coefficient is not 1, and we'll be using the box strategy. First, let's review the box strategy by multiplying these two binomials together. This is how we set up our 2 by 2 box, and we use a process like lattice multiplication to find what to write in the cells inside the box. And we'll rewrite our product as a trinomial where we combine the 5x and the 2x together. So now what we want to do is use that trinomial, the 2x squared plus 7x plus 5, and go backwards. We'll factor it to see what the two binomials were using the box. Remember, the 2x squared goes in the top left and the 5 goes in the bottom right. Now we multiply these two terms together and get 10x squared. And what two numbers multiply together to equal 10x squared? And we'll stop here because they also add together to equal 7x. Out of the top row, we can factor out an x. And then we can say x times what is 2x squared? X times what is 5x? 5 times what is 5? And now we can rewrite our trinomial as the product of two binomials. So that's how we're going to use the box strategy to factor trinomials. Let's set up our box. Multiply those two terms together, you get 18x squared. And let's start listing the factors of 18x squared. I'm only going to use the two negative factors because you see my middle term is negative. So two negative numbers multiply together to equal a positive, and they'll add together to equal a negative. In fact, this is the set of factors that I want to write on the on the diagonal. And let's factor out of the top row a 3x. Now 3x times 2x will give you 6x squared. 3x times negative 3 will equal negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 1 equals 3. We can now factor our trinomial as 3x minus 1 times 2x minus 3. So we'll try another example. We'll set up our box to factor this trinomial. 4x squared and negative 3 go in the top left and the bottom right cells respectively. Now let's take the product negative 12x squared. Look for factors of that. Which set of factors will also add together to equal the middle term, the 4x? Let's put these along the diagonal. And now let's factor out of the top row a 2x and complete the rest of the box. Now we can factor our trinomial as 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 3. We'll try another example where we're factoring this trinomial, putting the 3x squared in the top left and the negative 4 in the bottom right. Let's list the factors of negative 12x squared and look for the ones that add together to equal negative 11x. We'll write those on the diagonal. And along the top, let's factor out the 3x and complete the rest of the box. Now we'll write our factored form of this trinomial as 3x plus 1 times x minus 4. Okay, so we can also use this strategy even if there's a second quadratic term, and it's going to be the same process. The 2x squared goes in the top left, the 5y squared goes in the bottom right. Now this time we multiply these together and we get 10x squared y squared. So we want what two terms multiply together to equal this positive 10 x squared, y squared, but add together to equal the negative 11xy. So we're going to have only negative factors in our chart. We'll choose this group because they add together to equal negative 11xy. Along the top row, we'll factor out a 2x, and we'll complete our box. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 5y is negative 10xy. Negative 5y times negative 1y will complete the box, and now we can write our factored form. X minus 5y times 2x minus 1y. So now we have some practice problems for you. And please put the video on pause. And when you're ready, we'll show you the answer to the first two. And if you got those right, chances are you're on the right track for the others as well. Resume when you're ready. Okay, so for the first example, here was your box. And the factored form would have been x plus 4 times 9x plus 2 in either order. In the second example, there's a lot of factors of 120x squared, but I know that they had to be two negatives, and negative 15x and negative 8x would have been the ones that we wanted. Your factored form would look like this of your trinomial.